some people are leftists, some people are libertarians, some people advocate for big government, some people advocate for limited government. And people seem to land on the opposite side of the issues. No matter what the issue, they seem to end up on the same sides. The leftists on one and the libertarians on the other, even on issues that don't seem to have anything to do with politics, like abortion or global warming. Like, why is this? Why would this be the case? I asked the great master libertarian economist Walter Block that question, and his answer surprised me. And at first I thought he was kidding, but Walter Block had gone to school and run track and field with the presidential candidate in 2016 that called himself a socialist, and in 2020, Bernie Sanders. So I want to know, how could two guys that come from the same high school, the same upbringing, and all this stuff, how do they end up, one being a socialist and one being a libertarian? How does that happen? And so Walter Block, he tapped his head like this, and he said, I think it's genetic. And then he pointed to his wife and he goes, I can't even convince her. She's a socialist. So I began to think, I thought that didn't make sense. So, but now I think he's serious, and I think it does work. I think the science of genetic identical twins, the question of nurture versus nature is now being answered that it's largely nature. Nurture seems to be having a smaller and smaller role in how people turn out. So that kind of supports his thinking. So what I think is going on is that there's two ways that you can make decisions at any point in time, two sort of operating systems that you can use. One is just do what everyone else is doing. So fit in with the group, look around, see what everybody else is doing, see what the higher status people are doing, imitate that, do that. That's a safe way to make decisions in terms of survival. Now, another thing that you can do in any instant in time is when you're deciding whether to stand or sit, etc., is you can just look at your surroundings and use logic and decide in that way. So people use these two different ways of making decisions that I think are just fundamental, because one is all about social hierarchy and one is about interpreting reality through your senses and using logic. So these are two really basic ways of making decisions. So I think that the leftists, the Democrats, the communists, the people that want big government tend to be using that groupthink method of deciding, where they stand on an issue. So they're looking around and saying, what is my peer group or my social hierarchy? What are they doing? What do they believe? And fitting in with them. So the people at the top of the hierarchy are going to be the people that dominate the government, maybe as elected officials, or maybe people that are higher in the hierarchy than them. But either way, government is the mechanism by which the elites extract resources from the population. So it makes sense if people who are really concerned about fitting in and wanting to please their betters in the social hierarchy are going to be for big government, more government. They're going to be for disarming the taxpayers, anything that helps the elites consolidate and hold power, they're going to be for. And so I think that has a lot of explanatory power.